start with the pledge.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We're going to go ahead and call the roll. Vessler? Childs? Here. Collins? Here. Lee?
Here.
Owen? Here. Sullivan? McGrath. This is a public hearing on the 2015 to 2016 budget, and I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to Mary Carew. Mary?
In Illinois state law, we are supposed to adopt joint agreement budgets by the end of August. So as part of that, we are the administrative agent for the North Suburban Educational Region for Vocational Education, NSERV. NSERV is a joint agreement dedicated for vocational education, funded almost exclusively by the Illinois Career Technical Education Grant and the Federal Perkins Grant. They do both regional vocational activities and then disperse grant funds to the member high schools in the region. Their budget went on display July 1st. Tonight we will have both the public hearing on their budget and adoption of their budget. We also have the public hearing on the Maine 207 budget. We will not adopt the Maine 207 budget until September, but this will allow us an opportunity for any public to come in and speak on the budget. The budget has been on display both at the Administration Center and at the 7 public libraries since July 1st. So the purpose of this evening is to give the public an opportunity to address the board and the district on any questions they have on either the NSERV or District 207 budgets.
So, are we moving right to a discussion of those then?
The whole purpose of the public hearing is for the public's input. The discussion on the NSERV budget will take place later on the agenda item under agenda item number 11, and discussion and adoption on the 207 budget will occur at the September Board of Education meeting.
Okay.
The tentative budgets were discussed at the July meeting as well.
So, do you need to give a report on the publishing of the notices, or did you already do that as part of your?
Yeah, that's
Oh.
July 1st was
July
when,
1st. For both of them?
for both of them, they went on display.
So at this time, citizens who are present are invited to direct questions or make statements. I don't know, do we have a sign up for that? Yes, but there won't be. Do we have anyone here who would like to speak or has questions?
Eric Potterson, 940 Foster Street. Just doing an analysis between the two districts, 219 and 207. As I had stated in public, and I'll say it here, we run a really, really tight ship, and I have to applaud Mary and all the work she's done, and specifically Dr. Wallace with the storm we had, I guess, a couple years ago. I'd just like to know what we're going to do as far as refinancing debt and what we're going to be doing to minimize our debt, because that's the big thing at 219. I know we don't have as much debt as them, and our percentage of debt isn't as big, but I'd like to know if you can answer what strategy you're going to use in this fiscal year to reduce debt if we can. If not, because I know we're focusing on capital projects like this building and other improvements at the schools.
We have probably the lowest outstanding debt of any high school district in the Northwest Suburban area. We paid down $1.4 million in principal and interest on debt each and every year. During the last several years, we have refinanced our debt to achieve interest rate savings. Our last refinancing, we were able to refinance at a 1.75% interest rate, which was probably almost the bottom of the market. Because of the current interest rates we have no plans to refinance any of the additional debt because their financial rates are very low. We don't have a plan, as you stated, because we have capital projects ongoing to speed up the repayment of our debt service. But we have very low debt service compared to our comparable districts in this area.
Do you see a trajectory, I guess, going up as far as interest rates? And I guess we've hit rock bottom, because that's what I've seen with a lot of municipalities and schools as far as refinancing. I mean, we've basically hit rock bottom, and now the trajectory is going to go up. So interest rates are going to go up. I mean, that's what I see with the market right now. I mean,
Well,
do you see
if it goes up, I mean, we have no plans to issue debt, so we would not see a higher interest rate unless we issue debt, which we have no plans to do.
But as far as refinancing, we've done everything we can.
We've done everything we can. We, as they became callable, because as most people are well aware, the interest rate market has been very low for several years. So as the debt became callable, we took each and every year a look at, does it make sense to refinance the debt? Are we able to do it? And we've done refinancing on our 3 outstanding issues. One of those issues will be paid in full next year. So there's not even an opportunity to take a look at that, and then we will only have 2 bond issues outstanding, both of which have an interest rate below 2%.
Answer my questions, you do a great job. Dr. Walsh, you guys do a great job. Thank you.
Are there any other questions or comments? Okay. Then can I have a motion to adjourn the public hearing?
So moved.
For a second? Sullivan? Lee? Collins? Childers? McGrath? I'm sorry, Owen. Aye. Okay. I will now call to order the regular meeting of the District 207 Board of Education. We've already done the pledge and the roll call, although I'd like to note that Mr. Sullivan is now in attendance.
You should do roll call again. for a second.
Okay. Childers? Lee? Collins? Here. Sullivan?
Here.
Owen? Here. Okay. We'll start with communications. Again, are there any public comments? Don't see any? Okay. Next up, we have the coach program presentation. Wendy Reeds, we're happy to have you here. Thank you.
Wendy has been our coach coordinator, working with the elementary districts for, 11 years now?
Yeah.
One of the first great people that I met here in Maine.
It's possible.
The coach program works with all 3 of our elementary districts. With the program. So Wendy, if you're ready, did you break a technology?
It got tired of waiting. No technology, just little patience.
While we're waiting, could I ask you a question? So wait, the coach programs with the elementary schools?
Well, so we have a coach program in the main schools that is a peer tutoring program, Cooperative Achievement. It's held at both Maine West and Maine East. It's peer-to-peer tutoring during the school year. And then about 11 years ago, we extended it to the summer. And instead of doing peer tutoring in our own schools, we began working with our elementary school districts. And so it's kind of an extension of our school year program.
Way to build some good relationships with our
Yeah.
And we started by using a lot of our coach tutors in the school year, and then we had a whole group of them. So it's been a nice extension from what we're doing in the school year here. So, thank you for inviting me to speak here tonight to the Board of Education and the senior administration. I appreciate being able to come in and talk about our longstanding summer tutoring program sponsored by District 207. For many years, our mission has been multifaceted, to encourage high school students mostly to consider a future working with young people. Most of our tutors have an interest in a future as a childhood educator, either early childhood, K-12, psychology, child psychology, social work, working in youth ministry, pediatrics, coaching, and even have one that wants Ken's job.
As soon as they start.
For the past last 11 years, our Sender schools have been really grateful to have our students working with them in their classrooms as an extra set of eyes, ears, and hands that they really need. And each of the schools support Title I, school readiness, extended school year for special needs, ESL, and those students are all being sent to us. So we're essentially helping ourselves with our high school students, not only helping them in communication and writing and math, but also on how we do school here in Maine. They're great ambassadors to students coming in. Most of our students, this is their first real job. And you can imagine what your first real job might have been, probably not working for a nice school district. But it's really great because they're getting to go through the application process. They have to interview, they have to go through all the paperwork, and learn how to be responsible employees, kind of all under our tutelage, which is really great for our students. And most of all, they're building some executive function, becoming leaders, being able to improve their communication as classroom assistants, and be responsible employees. So logistically, we have about 70 to 80 students we hire every summer. Freshmen through newly graduated seniors, we try to hire an equal number of East, West, and South tutors. The ratio is pretty typical of elementary interest, 70 to 30% female to male students who we hire. Many of our students speak more than one language and are called on often to help out in the classroom in another language or with parents. I work in conjunction with the coach coordinators, Brian and Pauline, to find the best tutors, and we often hire students either through NHS, relationships, child development classes, tutor review, or other services being offered at our schools, but it's open to anyone to apply who has interest in working with students. Samantha Archer's summer program through CTE, all of those students are offered a position if they want it. And we are supported by the assistant principals at Maine East, the Human Resources Department, the Payroll Department. As you can imagine, it's a lot going on hiring that many teenagers. So what do we do when we're out there? We support 6 different programs at 11 different schools. In District 62, we support a Title I program at Plainfield, an ESL special needs program at Cumberland. In District 63, the TLC program, and an ESL summer program at Apollo, a kindergarten readiness program at 6 different sites. For many years, we've worked hand in hand. Probably the longest is District 64 in their Worlds of Wonder program, which is both enrichment and remediation for some students. And the students who are in teaching the school-age child, I'll work with the District 64 program as well. So you might wonder, what does a typical day look like when we put these high schoolers to work? And honestly, when I visit these sites, I never know exactly what I'm going to see from day to day. But I'll tell you that about Thursday, I went to see all the schools. And when I passed through the classrooms, I witnessed a sophomore student teaching letter formation to kindergartners in Spanish, but using English. And so that was pretty amazing. I walked to the one group was out on the park, and a girl was sitting alone, and one of our students was sitting with her, having seemed a heart-to-heart conversation that seemed very meaningful to both of them. I saw a sophomore working with a group of 7th graders on an iPad application that seemed frustrating to the 7th graders, but she was doing a great job of explaining what they were doing. I saw one of our senior students who's been with us for a few years have a group of students leaving a bathroom break, and she got them all enthralled in a story about a cyclops with 5 eyes and a club, all while they were sitting there waiting to go back to the classroom. So our students really make a difference. I saw truffle trees being built from the Lorax in one of the classrooms. They make a difference in big and small ways we see every time we're there. And one thing I will say is that it's not all truffle trees and cyclops stories though. They have to learn some of the more not so glamorous teaching. They make copies, they take attendance, they run errands around the building, because we want them to see what teaching is as well as the classroom, what's going on in the classroom. So you might wonder about, do we know that this is working? And we have a few things that show it does. Our center schools love what we're doing. They rave about the students we send them. They've come to depend on them for the success of their programs. And as a matter of fact, we at Maine 207 have just hired one of our coach tutors as a classroom teacher in English and coaching at Maine West, who started with our own program. We see a lot of our students coming back.
Is that Chris?
Yes, Chris Brassel. We have students who have joined the summer tutoring program. They were in the summer tutoring program as children. Then they became summer tutors. Now they're teaching in the summer tutoring program. And we really see this nice continuation. They're great ambassadors, not just for the summer tutoring program, but for the profession of education. 94% of our students want to work in the program again. 100% of the students feel like they're well utilized in the classroom. 73% say that they will consider a future working in teaching. And so what's next? Well, we plan on continuing the program in future years with the possibility of adding District 64's ESSA will look at another ESY program next year to support. And all of our summer sites and their principals have been asking me, how can we get your high schoolers help in the school day and in our extended day programs, because they see them as such a valuable resource, and as the relationship between them being so well done. And so I think this is a great place for our internships that we've been talking about in all the buildings to really expand to our own feeders. I've had a few people in the building here tonight. Ken has been along with me, Mary, Sean's been along with me in the last year to see what's going on in the school. So I just wondered if you have any questions about the program, or you can ask some of the other, maybe they can add in a little bit if I missed something you wanted to note. But I appreciate the chance to tell you a little bit more about it.
Well, I want to say a few words about Wendy, because Wendy's been doing this from the very, very beginning. And those of you who have worked with Wendy can appreciate this, but this program is really magical in a lot of ways, and it is, there's a lot of management behind the scenes. For many of our students, this is the first job that they ever apply for. We go through the whole thing, and that's actually one of the coolest pieces of this, when we've got them all up in room 230, and she's got, imagine 50 or 60 kids up there filling out applications, and just all of the mechanics of that. There's just so much practical stuff beyond working with the students in the elementary districts that go on here. And Wendy just does such a nice job. Anytime you've got somebody that's done something for 11 years and you've never heard a single complaint, that's a good thing. In fact, the only thing that I ever hear is, oh, I love the kids, Wendy's great to work with, this is just so good, and it's a testament to the really good work that Wendy does. And Wendy works with a wide range of kids and just finds a way to connect with all of them. So this wouldn't be the success that it is without Miss Wendy, I can tell you that.
Thank you, I appreciate that. And I feel like we've really, through the program, established strong connections with District 62, 63, and 64. Their principals, some of their school principals are also summer principals, and I've worked with most of them for the 10 or 11 years, the last 10 or 11 years, and really they want to do more with our districts, and hopefully we can find ways to do that.
I think this is a delightful program. How long have you been utilizing this program?
Well, it started in District 64 about 11 years ago. We added in a few, we added in TLC from 63, and then we added in District 62, so we've been kind of picking up years. But these schools we have now, we've been at probably for 7 of the 11 years.
And then this is a summer touring program, so this is just exclusively for summertime. So what are we talking about? Right after vacation starts? What's
Right,
the
what's the
timeline?
time frame?
Yeah.
Well, the process starts in March. We put out an application for the students. They have all of till spring break to apply. We interview them in April, get the hiring going in May, because it takes a very long time to get them hired. Not on our part, it's just they understand the documentation. This is their first job. And this week was the first payroll, and so a lot of them couldn't understand why they didn't get the whole pot. And I'm like, well, you see their check. So, that's welcome to America. Like, that was a shocker for quite a few. And so, you know, I had a lot of phone calls on Friday night. I was like, oh, Jesus. Friday. So a lot of phone calls on that one. But then we get them in the classrooms. So some of the programs run the day school gets out. So they started on June 15th this year, some of them. About 3 of them started on June 15th. And then they end in mid to late July. Some of the programs start July 15th, and one of them goes all, this year we had one start July 13th, and it's going all the way to August 13th. At Painfield School, it's budding right into the new school year, and that is a Title I reading program, and so I think that's actually a great way to run it because there's no learning loss going on. I mean, they are out of school for the weekend, and then they're back in school next week, and that's their intention. The kindergarten readiness programs as well, they've got right into the new school year.
Well, that's fantastic. I just got two quick questions. Reference, since the kids are getting paid, summer job kind of thing. So first of all, where we get that funding, by the way?
I'm gonna direct that to Ken.
District pays that, we have a coach tutor line item.
So district we pays, but from us, where do we get the funding from? The cash revenues from somewhere? So roughly every year, what's our budget exclusive for that?
Eric, can give you the exact numbers.
One, I was kind of confused. It's about 60,000 for, that might be the school year.
Yes, cool.
And then the other one is 40,000. So
About $100,000.
combined, it's about $100,000 for the program.
Yeah, but part of that, the bulk of that is our regular school year, the kids to our students. So,
Then one just to once again, this is a great program. If it's a summer touring program, once again, how do we attract those student audience? Because they also be in a summer vacation time too. So how are we able to attract, recruit those young kids to work with our kids for providing summer programs?
I mean, our high schoolers, how do we attract them, or how do we attract
So
them?
for high school, since it's a job, so students are working for the summertime, right? So the young kids
How do they know about the programs in the elementary?
yeah, and how do they participate in their summer
Right.
vacation time?
Right, well, so District 63 and District 62 have some somewhat mandatory summer programs. The Title I program, the ESL program, the Ready City, they're all free to the students. They're kind of expected, it's strongly encouraged that they come. And so they're there for a reason, which is to get caught up in whatever they're looking at. District 64 does, I don't know if any of you live in District 64, but they do a big school advertising campaign. They send out information to the parents of students in their schools. We don't do anything on the front of bringing students into their summer programs really, other than most parents in the district know that our students are placed there, which really, the extra set of hands in the classroom has benefited them so much because, you know, if it's one teacher and 20 kids and they don't always know all the kids because they're not their typical students, it's nice to have another person or two that can help out with that. So the parents in the district know that we're supporting it.
Well, once again, I think that's definitely a great program, but it just that's, again, summertime, many of the young kids, my kids went like Apollo Elementary School or Gemini Middle Schools and so on, and then during summertime, a lot of people are gone and it's lack of participation, and if we have these all wonderful programs and kids are working to providing services, and when we don't not have much of attendance, it will be like concern. So I thought maybe what might be the average participation in the summertime for students to
Get the word out.
Yeah, is it a couple dozen, 2 dozen, or you know, it's kind of hard to.
You had the numbers up there on the slides.
But-
It was like 400 or 500, a couple cases. These are big numbers.
Yeah, the mandatory programs are pretty well attended, and the ones in District 64 are done in 3-week chunks, so, or 14 days really, so families can kind of plan their vacations around them. TLC, at 63, you can join by the week, so some families will plan their vacations around that. The TLC program too is a lot for almost acres, it's open from 7:30 to 6, so there's an academic portion of it as well as kind of a day camp portion of it.
I also know just from my kids going through, they really enjoy the summer school programs, Worlds of Wonder, and they really enjoy that.
I think it's a great experience definitely for even for the high school students. So
Well, I was gonna say, my daughter is in the program, and she, I can attest to how it's, really made her mature in so many ways, and I feel like it's a win-win. I think, they're helping the younger kids too, so I applaud you for all that you're doing.
Yeah, I love that so many of them are really considering a future in education. You see it coming back, students who are teaching in other districts, and in fact, we've hired one ourselves. That's great.
From my first-hand experience, what I noticed was that it's coaching, but it's a mentoring where these little kids are looking up to now a big kid, and that big kid becomes so much bigger, so proud. There was a coach, I'll say Tom, the one who met, his mom's a teacher, and he just glowed, he just beamed at
Joe
this little
Skolek,
kid.
yeah.
Just looked up at him. About how many did you interview?
I usually get about between 120 and 150 applications. I interviewed about 95. We hired about 65. We hire back from year to year, as many as we can. We hired about 65, and then we took on anyone from Samantha Archer's internship program who wanted to stay on. So we end up usually between 70 and 80 years a year.
It's just marvelous.
And you just students are spending about 8 hours then on the summertime?
It's a half day, so most students work about 20 hours a week. The only one that's a full day is Cumberland's ESY program. They have the students in the morning and in the afternoon. That's kind of, if we really specialize students who tell me in the interview, I want to work with special needs kids, that's who we send to Cumberland, because that is full special needs program. And they get to see everything from the most mild to the most severe needs. So.
Is there any other support maybe coming from our district or board members to this continuation of your programs? Maybe you'd like to ask anything?
I just hope we can continue with it in the future. I think it's a great program. I look forward to it every year. It's actually something that's fun for me. I mean, how lucky am I to give everybody their first job? I mean, like, what a great feeling that is, and to work with them. And, Janice Cacciatore is an angel. I mean, like, all these kids who come in for fingerprinting and they're terrified. I'm like, you get to keep the fingers, they're very nervous about that stuff. But it's really a great thing. And if we can keep supporting the coach program as a district, I think it's only going to benefit us. And Ken and I have discussed a little bit about adding this to internships, working with our feeder districts, because we need a lot of good educators, and there are a lot of kids out there who can do it.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I appreciate it.
Okay, any updates from the superintendent?
I can tell you any updates.
Any updates from board members? Okay, then we'll turn over to Mary, monthly status of finances.
In your board packet is the June financial statements on a quasi-cash basis, because we've done the reversals of last year's accruals, but we have not put in this year's accruals. So on the revenue side, we're gonna add about 1.6 million in state payments that are gonna come to us in July, but they will be accrued for this fiscal year. And then we'll add another about $4 million for a property tax receivable. That will be done as part of the audit. So we should,
Did they actually arrive in July?
they actually are arrived in July. I know, 1.6 million, they paid up. On the expenditure side, about the only major accruals you'll see are on the construction front, as we take a look at payments that we make in July and August for work that has been completed in June. But all the other accruals are reflected in this. I will entertain any questions that anybody has on the June financial statements.
Just kind of a quick question on overall, how is our district's cash revenue in a situation's been doing lately?
Well, I think the big surprise we had this year in the revenue side was the the uptick we saw in the property tax appeals board, our refunds are over $1 million more than last year, and that is not something that we had anticipated. Some of that has to do with timing, and it seems like a whole lot of claims have been settled this year under PTAB, but that was truly an unexpected number. What it did is that our cash collections for property taxes were above 99%, and this has now taken us down to about 98.4%. So it'll be difficult to see, we kind of budgeted next year to be not as bad as this year, but worse than historical, because we want to see where that trend goes. But the state has actually paid us earlier than I anticipated. I thought they were going to come down to the wire in August and see if they would get our payments in. And everything else is cyclical. So, you know, right now in August, we'll start to see a lot of the textbook revenue money come in for student fees. Interest comes in throughout the year. But those are our big ones, the property taxes and the state revenue.
Generally, I think the community misunderstands about the district like 59, 62, including ourselves 207, that we have a high surplus of cash reserves and so on, and not able to utilizing it much. So there has been few thoughts about that. So maybe you can share, update them.
Well, I think one thing that's big is the West Building Project. I mean, that's a $10 million project that we're spending cash for. So that's an example of I think, being very fiscally prudent. And, you know, that's the old-fashioned way where we'll actually save money to buy things instead of borrowing. As Mary said earlier, we do have a low debt ratio. I don't know. I think as we've talked about here before, we'll see if we can sustain that. But that's an example of trying to be a good fiscal steward, where we've done a pretty significant building project that you will not see many governing bodies doing, paying cash instead of borrowing. So that's an example of what I would say has been very good for stewardship.
And I have to echo, I think our District 407 is constantly doing a fine job on the cash reserve situation. So that's good to hear. Thank you.
Okay, instructional services, Barb.
Don't get into code.
Monthly update on FOIA requests.
One request, and it's been completed.
We'll move along to the consent agenda, items 6A through F. Do I have a motion on the consent? For a second? Collins?
Aye.
Childers?
Aye.
Owen? Aye. Lee?
Aye.
Sullivan? Moving on to item 7, Board of Education Policies and Procedures. We have a second reading on the Administrative Performance Appraisal Program.
I'll move the adoption of the policy.
Okay, is there a second?
A second.
Discussion? Right, you want to go over?
Sure. What you have in front of you is the second reading of the new Administrative Performance Appraisal Program. If you recall, it was a board desire to revise the existing program that's been in place for over a decade, but have it be revised in a manner such that there were not points awarded just because a person had been in the job for many, many years, and just because they had, 32 hours past their master's versus only 16. So the Employee Relations Committee met on a few occasions. Our district team met on several long occasions, and we've crafted this new plan, which in many cases mirrors the old plan. However, we now are basing these on the National School Leader Standards, which Illinois has pretty much adopted verbatim. And so what we're really doing is we're saying our administrators are going to be held accountable for the performance standards that are issued by the state of Illinois and actually the nation as a whole. And so the nice thing about the program that we think we've been able to do is it's able to be customized for each individual administrator, since their job descriptions can change or vary from one administrator the next, but also their main duties or a major project for 1 year might be based on a building goal or a district goal. And as a result, the administrators will be able to work with their supervisor to decide which of those leadership standards they're gonna want weighted to a higher degree, because those are the areas where they're gonna be spending a lot of time working towards, achieving those goals for that year. So in that regard, we feel like, it will be kind of an individually tailored program, but yet we've created it in a manner that it's not so specific that if one administrator's job description changes, we don't have to revise the entire program. And so, as a result, we've eliminated the point value for 15 points that administrators were eligible for, and as a result, only 65 of those points were actually able to be awarded to those administrators based on their experience and their education level. So those points have been redistributed, and every year, they're gonna have to be earned.
And I think we have in front of each board member, isn't there?
Yeah, there is a draft revision in talking to Greg a little bit earlier, because it's changing.
Yeah, that's okay.
But they go around already as a draft revision. In talking to Greg earlier, I had a question about the planning steps that they go through, where they sit down and they have a goal-setting conference, and then they have an informal conference. And when I looked through it, I felt like I never saw in there that the administrators had input. And so I asked him about that. He said, yes, they do. But it really wasn't reflected in that, the procedures. So the language that you see added is just to clarify that the administrators do have input into the process. No, that's important. So I think that we have to amend the motion to include this language. Any questions?
Any objection, you second.
Any other questions or discussion on the? Well, yes, I mean, it's something that they are doing as part of their own procedure, but
It memorializes something that we haven't, but it was a good suggestion.
and I know that there's been a lot of work put into this by a lot of people, and so thank you. for all of the people.
A long time on this.
I heard you met on several occasions, so.
Going forward, it's gonna be a really good thing, so. There's no further discussion. We can go ahead and take the roll.
Lee?
Aye.
Childers?
Aye.
Collins?
Aye.
Sullivan? Owen?
Aye. Okay. Moving along to item 8, intergovernmental agreement, North Intermediate Service Center, Ken.
I'll say so.
Is there a second?
I'll second it.
I want to make a comment about 8 and 9 very quickly. When Mary and I started here, we were paying for about 50 seats a year at Cook. This number on United Make reflects 10 seats. That's how much down we are from 6 years ago. Similarly, on number 9, which is an agreement for some students who have services in the Niles Township Special Education District, the total cost of $253 is down from last year's cost of around $460. And what this does is reflect our larger trend of out-of-district placements in general. When I started here in 2005, we placed about 200 students a year in District 207 and other places besides District 207. We got that number in total down to about 50. It's a big, big change. Reflects, significant savings. We've had to build programs and improve existing programs to meet the needs of our own students. But 8 and 9 both reflect that trend.
Can I ask a question?
Sure.
So, the placement in North Cook versus our high school sorry.
North Cook is a regular
It's regular education.
regular education.
And so, are your kids getting placed there then?
Whole bunch of reasons. We do not expel a lot of students in District 207, and a strategy that the board has consistently used in the 10-plus years I've been here is to utilize North Cook as a way to, and actually it's a service that, speaking frankly, the board is under no obligation to provide to citizens. But it's a way to continue education for students with the idea that we can reintegrate them back into the school building. And this district continues to do that. In many parts of the world, students who's eligible for expulsion can be expelled. Parents are on their own depth. And this district has continued to provide educational services for a whole array of reasons that a student might not be able to continue in school for some period of time.
And generally, it's an additional disciplinary action on our part, providing that the intent or code they do supposed to do expulsion trouble things.
Yeah.
And it gives them a second chance.
Yeah.
So that's why we've had to use it. But the good thing is that things within our district schools that we work better than we're sending less kids to our group.
Yes.
So that's why it's one of those goosebumps, feel good kind of things. It's working here. And, you know, I think our use of North Cook is really saving a lot of kids from finding themselves in high school education.
As I said, we were paying for 50 seats when I first got here, but we were probably using, not probably, we were using more than that, because some kids are there, one semester or 3 months or whatever. But we literally, I think our high number last year was probably 11 at any one time. So that's why we're paying for the 10 seats when you pay for them, it's using the rules, and, we've continued to tick down that number.
Is it truly intermediate, or is it, can they graduate from there?
They theoretically, I think, can graduate from there. In fact, I know they can graduate from there. Now, the vast majority of time, students from 207 that have gone there have reintegrated back into our district. And Sean makes a really good point. The other thing that we really try to do is not need to use them as much. And that's a wide array of strategies there as well. You've heard us talk about response to intervention and problem solving in the buildings. I think we've gotten better and better at that.
And consistency between the principals in the three buildings.
Yeah.
There's been a lot of improvements over
Yeah.
the last 10 years.
And can I just ask about the agreement itself? Have there been any changes from the prior agreement?
We have continued to lower the number of seats that we pay for up front. Otherwise, they've had some funding issues. They've made some increases to the tuition annually. The other big change is it used to be if you paid for 10 seats, you had to also pay for 10 evaluations. And so we've wrestled with them to get that number down.
What did you say the placement was from last year?
I think our high number, I think what we paid for up front last year, it
I want
wasn't.
to say 14 or 15, but one of the things that is unique with this is that it's 10 seats at a time. So it can be 10 different kids in September than it is in May. So it's once the spot frees up, you're able to, for that same price, utilize that spot.
It's as out-of-district placements go, now unlike special education students that need to be responsible for educating outside of District 207 in any event, this still is a relatively inexpensive placement in the North Cook area anyway.
Very inexpensive, and we've always considered it a good deal because it was comparable to what it was our cost in turn on educating students here. And, the fact that we're looking at placements at, 12,000, it's a very good deal.
Yeah. They have a nice program.
And it works, that's the most important thing.
So roughly $12,000 for individual kids.
Correct, for individual placement, but as Mary said, I could be there in September, and you could be there in May, and we could have occupied the same seat in the same classroom, so to speak,
Yeah.
so.
It'll be a lot more than 10 kids in the program.
I would also add that they recently, in the last couple of years, reached out to us to do some curriculum alignment, to come to the buildings and visit, and, ask us what are we working on, what
this budget generally allocated from?
This is out of district regular education, so it's tuition line within the district's budget.
Any other questions or comments on this? Okay. Sullivan?
Aye.
Lee?
Aye.
Collins? Childers?
Aye.
Owen? Aye. Okay, item 9, next.
I'll move item 9, the intergovernmental agreement with MPDSE.
Is there a second? Is there a second?
Oh, second.
Okay. Any discussion on this? Do you want to do anything on this, Ken?
No, it's not.
So at Malloy, that's severely, students in a severe situation, so they could not be coming.
Well, and so one of the things that we've actually begun during the last few years, a low incidence program at Maine East, that's a large reason why this particular number has shrunk for us, because we are, I don't know that you ever fully get there, but we have moved toward being able to service as close to the full array of special education needs as possible in district.
And the children here don't just not good that.
Yeah, I'm not sure, I should have asked the question of special ed, but I can answer that with a little bit more precision and do a note for you on Friday.
So there are 3 in the program, but 2 of the 3 need
Yes.
teacher assistance.
And that's not, we're to the point, Mary, with our special education outplacement, that generally it's a very, very high need child, and which that's sometimes what comes with it. Our low incidence program, we've got one student that, is a nurse requirement, so
That was my question there, so there's no nurse needed for your any of these?
yeah, apparently not. Generally, I guarantee the program will have a nurse there, but there's a difference between having a program nurse in the building and having one that's just for an individual student.
Right. Oh, okay.
And I assume these agreements have been reviewed at least in the past.
Yep.
By our attorneys.
Yep.
Any other questions or comments? Now let's take a roll. Collins?
Aye.
Lee? Sullivan? Childers?
Aye.
Owen? Aye. Item 10, Maine School Hockey Association. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Is there a second?
I second.
Any questions or comments? This is one that we see every year. Okay, if there are none, call the roll. Childers?
Aye.
Collins? Lee?
Aye.
Sullivan? Owen? Aye. Item 11,
Make a motion to approve the insert budget $1,358,690.
I'll second that.
okay. Any comments or questions? Gary, do you want to?
This is the annual adoption of the joint agreement budget for NSERV. After the board takes actions, we will transmit this budget to the Illinois State Board of Education within our legal timeframe of August 31st.
Any questions or comments?
I have a question. When does this, because it's under Perkins grant too, is that what you said?
Yes.
So when does that grant end?
It's an annual grant that they allocate, and part of the reason why the CTE grant hasn't been diminished by the state is that Perkins is tied to it. So there's a funding requirement so that if they reduce that, then the federal government won't get out of our Perkins. So it's an annual grant. I think that because of that relationship, they're both probably pretty secure grants. But yeah, the federal government or the state could change its mind 1 year and diminish or reduce the funding for those grants.
Oh, there's no,
It's always,
I'm sorry.
The Perkins has been corrected for the federal level, which is never actually.
What is the grant year in September 30 or June 30?
And there's no,
It's an annual re-up, so it's not a 3-year grant, it's a 1-year grant.
And the insert districts, that's all of the open high school districts that feed into open, you just have to be the fiscal agent.
Yeah.
That's what your house here.
Any other questions or comments? Collins?
Aye.
Sullivan?
Aye.
Lee? Childers?
Aye.
Owen? Aye. Item 12, approval of bids and awarding of contracts.
Pepsi Cola.
Second? Discussion? Questions, comments? Okay. Childers? Aye. Collins?
Aye.
Lee? Sullivan? Owen? Aye. Calendar items.
Just, I would like to, on the 14th, which is Friday, we have our opening day at Main East, 8 a.m. in the auditorium, so board members are all invited to attend.
Will you be speaking?
Briefly, yes. Friday,
14th.
August 18th.
14th.
Excuse me. Yeah. I'm throwing you off my, throwing you off.
Testing. And school starts on the 17th?
Yes, it
Early start.
We're also looking to call a finance committee meeting with a buildings and grounds committee meeting immediately following on August 12th at 5:30.
And I'll be contacting Mary to set up a policy committee meeting, since we just received a policy from the finance committee that needs to now go.
We haven't run through yet. We'll be subject to,
Oh, okay, so you want me to wait?
I think we should look at it first.
Okay.
This is the waiver one. I didn't know.
Okay.
When
We can wait.
When we do policy, we'll talk about when people want to use the building.
That's what I'm referring to, that's what they're still working on. So,
Still work on.
sounds like finance is over.
I will be gone next week, so.
No, it will be later.
Item 14, any other items or information anyone wants to share? Are there any public comments or communications of any sort? No? Okay. Then, can I have a motion to go into closed session for the purposes of reviewing closed session minutes and appointment, employment, compensation, discipline, performance, or dismissal of specific employees?
So moved.
A second? Okay. Childs? Aye. Collins?
Aye.
Sullivan? Lee?
Aye.
Owen? Aye. Okay, we are paying the names.
Okay.
I'd like to make a motion to return to open session.
Mary Childers, there.
I'll second.
Janine? Childers?
Aye.
Lee?
Aye.
Collins?
Aye.
Sullivan?
Aye.
Owen? Aye.
Give it to Terry.
Okay, item 16, no, item 18, could I have a motion on items 18A with appendices, 18B, and 18C with appendices?
So moved.
I'll second.
Any discussion? Okay. Janine? Sullivan?
Aye.
Lee?
Aye.
Childers?
Aye.
Collins?
Aye.
Owen? Aye. Okay, item 19, other business, this is a motion to approve closed session minutes for July 6th and July 16th, 2015.
I think you need to separate.
Okay, and July 6th first,
I so move.
I'll second.
okay? Any comments? Ginny? Childers?
Aye.
Lee?
Aye.
Collins?
Aye.
Sullivan? And Owen? Aye. Closed session minutes for July 16th, 2015.
I so move.
Is there a second?
Now, Sean.
I'll second.
He was here.
I was here too, right?
Okay, yeah.
They just had to do it the other
I
one.
just want to make sure.
Discussion, comments? Okay, Ginny? Collins?
Aye.
Lee?
Aye.
Sullivan?
Aye.
Childers?
Aye.
Owen? Aye. There were no closed session
I'd like to
items.
make a motion to adjourn
Aye.
at 7:07.
I'll second.
Okay.
That's when you vote.
That's it? Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
All in favor?
Aye.